All right, we are live. Welcome into another episode of the Wildcard Lads. I'm Ryan,
I'm Peter.
And I'm Marcelo.
and today we have for you a redrafting of the 2020 first round. But before we hop into that, any guys you want to bring up? JJ Watt, Big Ben?
Well,
Yeah,
so
honestly, I think the Big Ben thing really struck me more like today. That was I was like, wow. So what was it, like a no comment from the GM? Like they just told him they're going to get back to him type of deal?
Yeah, that screams what the Rams GM did. I actually have, that's why I didn't start. I have the Rams GM tweet before they traded Goff a week before. He said, Jared Goff is a Ram, and that's today, as of today, January 26th. He was traded like not even a week later. And the Steelers.
I don't think they'll trade Ben.
Just not on the team is the point. Like probably cut, because he has a massive cap hit, and if they do cut him, they save $19 million in the cap, which could bring back Juju or Bud Dupree, which is probably the smarter play, like long term. Kevin Colbert, the Steelers GM today, said Ben is a member of the Steelers as we sit here today. He wants to continue to play, but we have to look at the situation.
Well, here's the thing: they should have been deep in the quarterback market already. I mean, it's not too late.
No, because there's still a lot of QBs available. There's still, Sam Darnold, Carson Wentz, Cam Newton. Still like a plethora of guys out there.
Yeah, but if I'm Pittsburgh, I don't want Sam Darnold. I want somebody who's going to give me more of a chance to win right now.
Sam Darnold.
Oh, yeah, Sam Darnold. You just want their picks.
I think their best shot to win right now would probably be trying to salvage whatever's left of Carson Wentz. But yeah, at the end of the day, are they going to want to pay that, considering they just traded away 2 first-round picks for Fitzpatrick? Or first-round pick. Was it 2 or 1?
No, it was 2. Minka Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, so you got to – I don't know.
But, yeah, I know what you're saying. And, is there a possibility they just go in with Mason Rudolph and Dwayne Haskins?
No, absolutely not.
They can't.
There's a possibility you can turn the ball over to Dwayne Haskins, but I think you still have to get another guy in there that's like a surefire. Like I could start you week 1 and not have to worry about taking it out.
I don't even think Mike Tomlin's going to do that. He's going to want somebody who has years under their belt.
I don't think Carson Wentz is a possibility just because of his cap hit. I don't.
Yeah, I think Carson is also either he's going to be a Colt or a Bear, from the looks of it. And at this point, I'm actually leaning more Chicago.
Yeah, the Colts aren't willing to budge.
There was a rumor,
because
if
they're interested in Ertz.
Yeah, I've seen that too, because Ertz is also going to be on the move this offseason. But there was a report, and you don't know it's like whether it's true or false, but apparently if Wentz doesn't want the Bears will pull the plug and not pull the offer, and then he's kind of stuck with whatever the Colts offer, the Eagles. So, but I don't know. The Bears seem desperate to me, so I don't think they would do that because, Pace and Nagy are on the hot seat. So, I'm pretty sure they're going to try to do their best to attain a different starting quarterback for 2021.
Yeah, they should, whatever picks that they have for next year, they should just get rid of because they're not even going to be here to make them.
Yeah, from their point of view, but from the Bears franchise point of view, it's stupid because if Wentz fails, then, you set back.
Well, yeah, but that's not their problem. They're trying to keep their jobs.
And that's the problem with bringing back 2 people on the hot seat. Like, they don't think logically or, long-term planning.
Well, yeah, again, that's ownership, and that's why, they're not going to make it out as long as Aaron Rodgers is in that division. They're not going anywhere in the NFC.
And we'll segue to J.J. Watt real quick. He's enjoying free agency. I see a lot of different players around the league kind of tweeting at him.
Yeah, I know. It was the funniest thing. DeAndre Hopkins posted a picture of him and JJ when they were in Houston. And the comment was something along the lines of, let's finish what we started. Yeah. And then Juju comments under it. He was like, forget that, bro. Come play with your brothers.
The funny thing is, Juju might not even be on that team at that point. So
I was thinking that too. I don't think he's going to be there. So
yeah, I think, dude, I think Juju is either going to go to one of 2 teams. It's either going to be you guys, or I think Washington football team might shell out the bag for him.
I don't think he's worth the money. I don't
know. No, he's not. But if you're Washington and you're going into the season with Scary Terry and just praying Logan Thomas is like half of what he was last year.
But that's the thing. I don't think any team is going to offer him large amounts of money.
There's going to be some stupid team that's going to give him 12, 13, 14 million a year.
Yeah, I agree with that. We've been seeing now just speculation, but there's a report that Kenny Golladay will be tagged and Allen Robinson will maybe be tagged and traded. I don't think Robinson's going to be on the Bears, but that's a possibility. So and this is going to be a weird year because we don't know, like we obviously understand the cap situation with the whole COVID. So there's teams who are struggling with the cap. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do. And I don't think there's as many people tagged this year as usual. But like at the same time, it's like if Allen Robinson and Kenny Galladay don't hit the market, like Juju is that next tier receiver, so like he will. Receivers are getting paid now. You see all the recent contracts. So, but I mean, there's the Jets could be one of those teams. Washington, like you said, I think the Raiders are another possibility.
Possibly.
Yeah.
I'd like to see them pay Aguilar.
Apparently, he's going to leave. So.
Yeah.
But then again, you don't know. I mean, this is all we're still a month away. Actually, exactly 1 month away. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I think the franchise tag teams can start franchise tagging people in 2 weeks. I think it's like a week or two before free agency.
Something like that.
I think it's 2 weeks. So
unfortunately, the Giants will not be tagging Leonard Williams. We're gonna have to pay that man.
At least he played good for you though last year.
I'm just scared that once he gets his $13 million a year contract is gonna go back to Leonard Williams we saw playing for the New York Jets, and that's nothing for me.
Well, that's the thing. You don't know if it was just like a system fix because you know how all the Giants players fell in love with the new coaching staff.
I'm confident.
You don't know if it's that. Yeah, you don't know if it's that or if he was just playing for the money.
Well, yeah, contract year, you never know, but it also worked out that contract year is also our new defensive coordinator year, so you're gambling.
Then Vegas just came out with the odds before for JJ saying that Cleveland is the new favorite to land him. I don't know what he sees. Obviously, you're going to play alongside Myles Garrett, but
yeah, you play on the other end of probably one of the best pass rushers in the game right now, other than yourself.
I like Cleveland as a team.
Yeah, I love the fit.
If I'm JJ, I want a team in the NFC. I feel like it's harder to make it in the AFC to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but Cleveland was probably right there. Cleveland probably, you know what I mean? I think Cleveland gave the Chiefs the best run for their money throughout the whole AFC side of the playoff bracket.
Yeah, I mean the Cleveland still they still need linebacker help, but JJ Watt would be a big addition to a very young team. Mostly the Cleveland Browns are I think top 3 in youngest age fielded on their defense and roster in general. So the Browns are interesting. I think I actually would like that if he ended up.
And imagine the impact he'll have on Myles Garrett's game. You know what I mean? Myles Garrett's already probably up there as one of the best, but bringing JJ Watt, who's done it for years on end as a top guy when, granted when he was playing and not injured.
Yeah. Personally, if I'm JJ, obviously you have to think of Pittsburgh just because your family's there, but in all reality, I'm choosing Green Bay. And I don't even think it's close. You got to go home and play. He already has a cabin out in Wisconsin. He's there all the time, right? Mm-hmm. And what's their biggest weakness? They need more linebacking help. We know that, the Packers.
Well, yeah,
but
front seven.
You could if you move down to D tackle, right? Clog up the middle. Any kind of run up the gut, they're going to have to kick it outside whenever teams try to run it because they're not going to, just because of how much of a beast he is down low in the trenches. I just think it's a great fit. And you have Green Bay, get Aaron Rodgers, whatever help he needs. Another receiver, or you replace your running back situation.
I like it just so they can take a receiver with their first round pick this year. I'm not gonna lie to you because Aaron Rodgers needs some help on that offense.
I don't even think it's that. I just
they could definitely use an offensive lineman. I think on the right side, but
I'd rather go offensive line than a first round receiver. Well, me and Ryan, we're going to get into it now because we're going to do the redraft of the 2020 draft class. But we were looking right before you got on, Markel, the call, and we were seeing. There's so many good skills position players, running backs, wide receivers, whatever, that went in the second round. Where let's say you could go offensive lineman like Mekhi Becton at 11, and then you come back around and you have, the likes of a Michael Pittman and all these different players.
Dude, I have an offensive lineman that went in the 6th round, going in my first round redraft.
Yeah, so do I.
6th round. Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, well let's just get into it.
Yeah, let's start it.
Okay. Before we start, let's just show the viewers, I guess, if you don't remember the actual draft. I'm sure you remember the first couple, Burrow, Chase Young. You can just read the screen. Yeah. So we're going to have a very different draft order. I mean, some of these teams hit, but obviously some of these players you're looking at now will probably not be in our first round. All right, most of them in the first top 10 will be in my first round anyway.
Yeah, 100%.
Henry Ruggs, I don't know.
I might have had him go in the end. I'm not like 100% familiar. Let me see. Let me
This
run
wide
through
receiver class is pretty incredible.
I still can't believe CeeDee Lamb was the third receiver to go in the class. Like, I thought something crazy would happen. Maybe like if Ruggs just went before him just for speed purposes or whatever it was. I didn't think it would be the third one taken though. Thought he would go 1 or 2.
Rager, it still blows my mind that Rager went over Jefferson. But that's the beauty of the NFL draft.
I do have Ruggs in my redraft, my first round.
I don't think I did, but we'll talk it out. We'll see. You could probably convince me toward the end of the first because obviously it's only been, the rookie year. So there's also, it's not just based on 1 year. We're also going to project players, I guess, in the future. So you can still sell me on Ruggs. This guy's not going in the first round. Apparently, I don't know if you guys seen Isaiah Wilson.
He'll be out of the league.
He might be out of the league. Like that's just crazy. The Tennessee GM came out yesterday and basically said he hasn't talked to him since they put him on the reserve list, and he's basically questioning his, I guess, character and like does he want to play the game of football? So that's crazy. It's very rare. Do you not see that after 1 year in the NFL? But
yeah, Isaiah Wilson certified bust.
It's definitely looking that way, unfortunately for Tennessee. All right, well here it is. The Bengals. Let's talk about this. So Joe Burrow was a very good pick, certainly worthy of a first overall pick. The Bengals, they definitely don't regret this pick. I think he showed a lot. Definitely their most exciting quarterback since Carson Palmer. Just energized the fan base in the city. But there's no way I'm passing on Justin Herbert after seeing him 1 year in the NFL.
No, you're one of those people too, man. Come on.
No, listen, I'm the biggest Joe Burrow guy you'll find. If you want to put him at 1, I understand just because he did show promise, whether it was the Philly game or when he played, I think it was, I forgot if it was Cleveland or Baltimore, even though he threw a pick at the end of one of those games, he showed promise. But you have to go Justin Herbert just based off of eye test and what you saw.
And I mean, they're in two different like complete systems though. I don't know.
All right, but hear me out.
Justin Herbert had his year just because he was in that Chargers. He had Keenan Allen and he had those guys around him. What do you?
I think he made everybody around him better.
I'm not saying he didn't elevate the team, but at the end of the day, put Joe Burrow on that team, he would have been doing the same stuff. If not, I
don't know if he can.
No.
Like Justin Herbert can or air it out like he can do. He can't do it.
That's the thing. Is like it's the physical tools, the physical tools that Herbert has, and it's not that Burrow didn't succeed under pressure because obviously he got hurt, which is unfortunate. But if you look at the Chargers rankings at offensive line, they were 31st in pass blocking win rate and 32nd in run game. So Burrow actually somehow had a better offensive line. But I'm not gonna sit here and act like Keenan Allen isn't a great player, and I would say the Chargers' skill weapons overall beat the Bengals. But Joe Burrow wasn't throwing to no scrubs either. I mean, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd.
I'll give you that.
But it's not a case of like did they get it wrong because they didn't. Like Joe Burrow's gonna be a good player. It's just like we have the 20/20 hindsight, and I don't think you can pass what Herbert offers this time around.
Yeah,
well, this has to be Joe Burrow then.
This is Joe Burrow now. Like,
Joe Burrow leads right after. It's not a knock on Burrow. It's just of what how Justin Herbert proved everybody wrong.
And it's not even
defensive rookie of the year, whatever. But the quarterback situation limits that team so much more.
I think Chase Young is obviously going next. Chase Young was a phenomenal pick, a complete culture changer on defense as well. And Washington loved that pick because honestly, Chase Young is going to be like a Myles Garrett, Nick Bosa type of player in this league. So, but Washington, as we're sitting here today, are picking 19th in the 2021 draft, and their biggest need is quarterback. And the most important position in sports, in any sport, is basically the quarterback position. So, that's really it. Chase Young, obviously, to the Lions. That would be a great pick for them if it went that way. What are your Giants? Who did you want to pick here?
All right. Who did I want originally, or who do I have in this?
Well, let's hear both.
All right. Originally, I wanted Wirfs. In this, I was debating between Wirfs and Becton, but I gave them Becton.
I think it should be Wirfs.
I think it should be Wirfs too.
I understand that Wirfs is great and whatever, but if I'm going to pick a number 4, I want a guy that's going to watch my blind side, and I didn't see Wirfs do that at all this year. He was on the right side of the line the whole year.
Yeah, but he had it locked down.
Yeah,
I get that, but I saw Mekhi Becton lock down the left side of the line.
Trust me.
Yeah, I'm going 2020
I don't know, durability and everything, dude. I don't know. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I think I'm a Jet fan. I love Becton. I think he's gonna be a top 5 left tackle soon. But durability is concerned, and based on what Wirfs did this year, I can't take him over Becton.
Marco, let me tell you,
the right side of the line different from the left.
As a Saints fan, I love Teron Armstead. Right, he's like the longest tenured offensive lineman that's starting still on our line right now. But 10 times out of 10, I'm taking Ramczyk over him. The consistency and durability that you get and the lockdown, like you don't have to worry about an edge defender coming from that side of the line at any point in the game.
I get it, but you realize the left side of the line is a completely different, like.
I understand, but dude, it's so much the consistency of not having to worry about one edge defender, regardless of, I understand it's the most quarterbacks blind side, the left side, but it's just having the comfort and knowing you could run it that direction every play and be like secured. You could roll out to that side of the offensive line and you'll be fine. You need I think Wirfs has to be the pick here for the Giants. They'd be lucky to have him.
I think you're
I don't know. I'll agree to disagree, but
I think you're gonna get outvoted here because what you're saying is true. Like the left tackle is more important, but as we transition, like in the NFL, the right tackle position is basically it's almost equivalent because like edge rushers are really just going to both sides now. Like you really have to have 2 good tackles. And Wirfs was phenomenal, especially toward the end of the year and in the playoffs. He was honestly one of the main reasons why they won the Super Bowl. Like if they don't have Wirfs, I don't know if they win or go on a huge playoff run. The Dolphins.
Now here's my thing at 5.
This one's really interesting.
Are we going in the perspective of like we're assuming that you could take one of these great players that are left and then get a quarterback next year? Because right now, if we do hindsight, they would be able to draft the leftover of Zach Wilson or Justin Fields while getting a nice position here, whether it's a tackle or what.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking of it as like, I don't want to like I wanted like a projection of the players taken in this draft, like going into like later years. Like obviously the Dolphins would have had no idea the Texans were going to end up with the 3rd overall pick, which is now their pick. I don't know. I was going to make a case for Tua again here. Like I know Tua hasn't so far been worthy of the 5th overall pick, but it seems like Dolphins ownership really tanked for this guy for a whole entire year. And that doesn't always justify a pick, but it feels like they're going to surround him with more talent this offseason. And we're going to see. Like, this is definitely a wait and see. This could definitely be, like, completely wrong in a year or 2. But, after 10 games in the NFL, I don't think he was that bad. I think he was definitely overblown. Played well in a few games. Obviously, he had some very low moments against, like, the Raiders. But, I don't know.
I know.
What do you guys
could also make the argument that the Dolphins would have been better off last year just starting Fitzpatrick throughout the whole year, and you get him a tackle like Mekhi Becton.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys want to go tackle here, I'm off. This tackle class was special. It was talked about last year.
So in mine, I had him going Wirfs. So you guys basically interchanged Wirfs and Becton for me in this.
I'm good with that. I'm good going tackle at 5. And I'm a Tua fan. I want him to have a successful career. I liked him at Alabama, and just naturally, I wanted to do well in the NFL as well. But for no reason did he show me that he should be the 5th pick in the draft over a very big position of need.
Okay, so that's fair. You guys outvoted me. Wills or Becton?
I'm saying Becton.
Yeah, I'm going Becton over Wills.
Okay, I actually would have voted Wills, but for the future projection, I'd go Becton too.
Yeah, man, you're hating on your guy.
No, I just want to be like as non-biased as I can be because I have huge hope for Becton. I just don't want to as long as he proves durability because he's gonna get better. As long as he stays on the, I'll be happy. The Chargers.
This has to be Tua, for me at least.
Peter.
Yeah, I'm fine with Tua.
I mean, listen, if we're gonna make the same case, because they definitely wouldn't have won 7-9 or 8-8, but they did without Herbert. Like, why not go tackle for them too if we're not picking a quarterback for the Dolphins?
Well, just for the fact of and it's not even a knock against Wills, but the drop off between Tyrod Taylor and a rookie quarterback, or what they provided at tackle this year and Jedrick Wills, would he really have made a difference in a win or two?
Based on Tyrod Taylor, probably not. But like Will's the prospect compared to Tua looks significantly different because Will's had a huge impact on the Browns too.
Look, I'm not going to get mad if you want to go Wills here.
No, listen. I'm all 4 teams.
Yeah, I say go quarterback of the future here, just because you can't depend on Tyrod Taylor.
No, that's fine, and that's.
And again, it's not like Mekhi Becton would have been protecting Ryan Fitzpatrick, who still showed that he was probably their best chance to win games this year for the Dolphins.
Yeah, but at the same time, they weren't going for wins. It just ended up being that they were.
It just ended up being that way. Yeah.
The Panthers. So they took Derek Brown. They could definitely do it again, especially toward the end of the year. It came on very strong. And I don't think they definitely don't regret this pick.
Yeah, I say you keep it. I think he's going to be a key piece of that defense moving forward, considering.
Hear me out. I'm willing to go Derek Brown for sure, but hear me out. Jeffrey Okudah. Okay, I know it wasn't a good year. No, hear me out though. That was Matt Patricia, right? That was Matt Patricia. There was zero coaching going on.
I have Okudah falling really far in mine.
There's no way because he was a great prospect. It's only been 1 year. Like I have high hopes for him going forward. Like this is. I know we're doing it based off the first year, but also
at the same time, it's just different playing corner in the NFL and different playing corner in college.
Yeah, it takes time, and also it doesn't help when you're not getting.
Believe it or not, Ryan, I'm actually not against at least considering Okudah, just for the fact that I think defensive tackle is one of the easier. I don't want to say because it's still hard. You still have to do your job as a scout. I think it's one of the easier positions to find. Like if you need a replaced in the NFL. And I was going into last year's draft, I actually like Kinlaw more than Derek Brown. So if you wanted to say Javon Kinlaw here, I would have considered that. Again, if you take out, any outstanding thing and you still include potential, I would still go Kinlaw, I think, over Derek Brown. But I still would consider Okudah.
Okay, well, you're going to be the deciding factor. So I'm good with going Derek Brown, but
I'll go Derek Brown if you guys want. Okay. I think Markello leans Derek Brown.
Keep it Derek Brown at this point.
We got to give one to Markello because
we showed promise.
We've been throwing off Markello's mock a little bit. So
I think it's so important in the NFL to have a number 1 corner. Like regardless of Ryan said how it worked out last year.
What Okudah showed us was not a number 1 corner, and I don't know if that was just a bad system or.
Yeah, it was definitely that. It was definitely being a rookie as well. So I'm still gonna have Okudah going pretty high. I'm gonna convince you on one of these teams because I think
I'm still gonna convince you guys on Isaiah Simmons. I'm not gonna let Arizona's scheme take him out of the first round.
I'm taking Jedrick Wills here.
Not right here. I'm not saying right.
Ryan.
In the first round.
Exactly. Jedrick Wills going right here.
He honestly, like, I liked him as the best tackle going into last year, and he definitely didn't disappoint. Yeah, he didn't disappoint though. I know,
he got hurt towards the end.
But he was a big influence in the Browns, like overall, like offensive line being much better. It just so happened he happened to be in a class with Tristan Wirfs and Mekhi Becton, who got kind of all the praise.
Yep.
But he wasn't a punching bag like Thomas was this past year. But Thomas he did deal with an injury. It's a bit unfortunate for Thomas because he went 4th overall. It was the first guy taken. I think that's why he kind of gets scrutinized the most. But Jacksonville Jaguars, so they went C.J. Henderson here.
I think they take C.J. Henderson again, bro. They hit on that one.
I would go.
He's the only promising piece of that defense. Him along with a little bit of front 7.
So you want them to go corner again?
I would take C.J. Henderson right here. I think he panned out well for them.
I'd go Okudah.
Really?
Yeah, I liked Henderson. I think he's a first round, definitely worthy pick.
Well, I remember last year people were even debating between Okudah and Henderson. They didn't know who number 1 was, and then it just came out a couple days before the draft that Okudah was locked.
Yeah, there was some speculation of who the number 1 corner was, but Henderson did get hurt and missed I think all November and December. Started off well and then kind of went through a little bit of a rough patch, but I'm not going to hold that against him. Jacksonville have a very rough. Not a good defense, not a good pass rush. So you kind of. But what are you thinking, Peter?
I mean, look, I get your argument for Okudah. Still a great prospect. So I'm not going to get mad if you go him here.
I would rather go Okudah because, dude, even based off the bad year Okudah had, he was still a far better tackler.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Okay, Cleveland Browns. So obviously they went Jedrick Wills.
They're getting my boy.
Andrew Thomas.
Yes, sir. The turnstile.
Hold on.
I agree with Markello, actually.
Okay. You could go Andrew Thomas if you want. I'm not taking it away because
let's hear you out.
For Cleveland.
Let's hear you out. What are you thinking?
So from this 10 to 15 range, I'm letting you guys know I'm going to start flirting with the idea of Kinlaw.
Okay, that's
I
fine.
haven't. I'm not gonna tell you where I have him, but I have him.
I'm fine with going Andrew Thomas here. I'm just saying this is where I start, considering Kinlaw for these next few teams.
Yeah, that's fair. More than fair. I think Thomas just makes sense to the Browns because of what they did to,
I'm good with it.
build a new offensive line. And even though I still have hopes I think Thomas is going to be at least an average to hopefully a little bit above average left tackle in this league. My New York Jets. So unfortunately, in this scenario, we missed out on all 4 of the tackles. So
I think it makes it easy. Yeah.
No brainer.
Same thing.
No brainer. Justin Jefferson.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, the only other rookie wide receiver that came close was Brandon Ayuk in my mind. So, and Jefferson just looks like a star. So there's nothing you can. Is this where Kinlaw comes into your picture? Because I don't think we're going Henry Ruggs again here.
I actually went Chase Claypool here.
Okay.
I think that's too early. The next receiver that goes off the board, I'm still taking CeeDee Lamb.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, he went like non-existent after Dak got injured.
He had a game or two with Dalton.
Yeah, like 1 or 2, but
the Niners game came to mind.
I'm still taking him over Claypool. I don't know.
Well, also, I'm trying to think in this John Gruden system, as much as I like Claypool, I think you'd have to go Judy or Lamb. Even before the draft, that's what people were saying, and they ended up taking Ruggs. Because, it wasn't unfortunate, but, the way Nelson Aguilar played was just unexpected for the Raiders. So they ended up having 2 guys who kind of have the similar, skill set between Ruggs and Aguilar. And then Ruggs really wasn't ready as a rookie. So, they really should have taken Judy or Lamb.
So for Las Vegas right here, if you don't want to go Kinlaw just because, I guess, of the position, because, again, they would much rather like a linebacker. Certainly. If you guys are not willing to put Isaiah Simmons, because I understand, obviously, tape and how it worked out in Arizona, especially the first half of the year, it didn't pan out. I don't know. I think they would have used him at linebacker, the Raiders. But if you don't want to go Isaiah Simmons, that's fine. But then I think the next pick would have to be Kinlaw for the Raiders.
I think I'm gonna agree with you, Peter. The first take. I think I'm gonna go with Lamb here. I like because Judy, I have no doubt he was hindered by Drew Lock and backup quarterbacks. But besides that, he does have a bit of a drop problem that Lamb doesn't have.
Well, not just a drop problem, because we've seen the long touchdown catches or the screen passes to Judy. My one issue with Judy, and it was the same thing last year, was he's allergic to contact. If anybody even gets near him, they don't even have to tackle him. They just have to touch him, and he just falls. You need to be able to break a tackle when you need to.
It's a good thing he's a really good separator.
No, but that's why he was projected to go as the first receiver off the board. It was the separation that was going to save you. But at some point, you're going to run into a team like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers where everybody's faster than you, and you're going to have to break a tackle.
Yeah, fair enough. So San Fran, are we going to go the same pick?
Kinlaw. You have to give me Kinlaw.
All right.
Same pick.
I was thinking, hear me out, but then again, we're not going to, just based on your love of Kinlaw, he's not going to make it there. So in my mock draft scenario, I actually took Ayuk here, and then I took Kinlaw with their other first-round pick. But
I don't think Kinlaw would have fell that far.
You're a big fan of Kinlaw, so we're not going to do that to you. But listen, I will make the case for Brandon Ayuk at least before I finalize Kinlaw, because Ayuk was definitely the better pick this year for them. And just going forward, I think he's wide receiver 1 down there, not counting George Kittle. I'm talking about over Deebo Samuel. I think Brandon Ayuk's the guy in San Fran. But listen, if we want to go Kinlaw, we're going to go Kinlaw. So Tampa Bay.
Oh, this is a 6th-round guy that I put.
I had the same thing.
What's his name?
Michael Wanahu from the Patriots. Yeah. Michigan.
You already knew they were going to go offensive line to protect Brady going into the year.
And what a steal the Patriots got for him. This guy was really good this year. He was ranked really high according to PFF. And even if you just watch the Patriots game, he did not look like a rookie. Patriots are just really well coached in the offensive line. And there's talk about him possibly, maybe moving to tackle if they have to this year. So he's kind of versatile because the Patriots have Andrews and Thuney as free agents. So maybe he even kicks into center or guard or left guard. So, but that'll be interesting to monitor. Someone, complete steal for the Patriots and definitely worthy of a first round, redraft. Denver Broncos. Do we stick with Judy?
This is one of two people.
Okay.
This is either your preference of remaining wide receiver, or this is CJ Henderson.
I'd say yes, but who did Denver have at corner at this point?
AJ Boye going into
I don't think they were on corner.
I don't know. Denver has always been notorious for having two lockdown man corners. And
I get that, but like you also have Drew Lock on offense with.
Yeah, I think that the thought process was the right call in terms of like helping out your young quarterback in this scenario.
Yeah,
it's just unfortunate what happened with Lock, and
that's why I'm fine with either. So if you want to go Judy right now, I'm good with Judy. Just same pick.
Yeah, let's just go.
Yeah, I'd say Judy.
All right,
I think Judy's gonna work out pretty well.
But CJ Henderson definitely has to follow here, because AJ Terrell was not the pick here.
I actually really like Terrell. I would argue for Terrell.
I like him too, but
we're gonna put Terrell in the first round. Honestly, I'm telling you that right now.
I like Terrell too. Terrell's going first round, but just raw physical, like just your length, wingspan. You have to go CJ Henderson for what that defense needs.
Okay.
You just wish he was a better tackler. That's really it.
That's fair. But I do think Terrell, just for any if there is any Falcons fans watching, I actually like that pick. It got scrutinized at the time, but I actually think it was a pretty decent pick. So Dallas Cowboys. So CeeDee Lamb is not on the board this time.
Yeah,
I know who I need. I know who I need.
Jones pick.
So they were going to take Chase on if Lamb wasn't there.
I'm going to let you guys say who you think, and then I'm going to make my case, and I'm not budging on who this should be. So you guys go first.
I put Antoine Winfield.
I was thinking
with you.
I was thinking the same thing.
Okay, perfect. I thought you guys were going to say something else. This has to be Antoine Winfield.
Yeah, he's definitely by far the best safety. I think he would have been Rookie of the Year if Chase Young wasn't existent. But
if the Falcons going into last year didn't have such a huge hole at corner, because now you look at it 1 year later, they need to draft a safety high. They need to.
Winfield was absolutely phenomenal. He was
you can even make an argument to take
Xavier McKinney was still on the board at that point, and there was no reason not to draft him if you're Dallas.
Listen, if you want to, I know McKinney missed basically all of his rookie year, but if you want to talk about him in the later 20s, I'm more than willing to do so, because this is also a projection just going forward. Like, I know he missed most of his rookie year, but like McKinney, I thought at the time last year was certainly worthy of a first round pick, even though he went on the top of the second. So if you want to bring him back up,
I'm not going to complain. I will take it.
Miami, we had an offensive lineman, right? Was it Becton? Okay, so
yeah, who did I put here?
Do you kind of just take best player available with Isaiah Simmons with like a defensive mastermind like Brian Flores, even though they have like a Kyle Van Noy? Like, is this too good a value to pass up on in this situation?
Well, look at it, because they still went nickel corner in the first round, right? At the end of the first round.
They did. They took Austin Jackson here, the offense tackle.
Yeah, but we went Becton, like you said.
And then they got like Noah something at 30.
Yeah, the corner from Auburn.
Yeah, that's the nickel corner. So I would love Isaiah Simmons here. That would make me happy.
Markel, any objection? Anybody else you looking at?
Isaiah Simmons here?
Yeah, I mean, it's what we'll pick. Let's just pick 19. So let's just pick 18. So
I mean, you could make the argument that, maybe Isaiah Simmons, but I think they might need a bigger linebacker. They have like a bigger like middle linebacker problem. So maybe you can go like Patrick Queen.
I don't know. Just watching Patrick Queen this year, I think he had too many problems in pass coverage. And that's not taking it. It's not like Isaiah Simmons, was a superstar.
It's not even that though. You could fix the pass coverage thing, dude. The thing about Patrick Queen is like he can get from one end of the field to the other end like in no time. So that's what I'm looking for in a linebacker, like a Devin White-esque type guy.
It would be different than what they have, because they have Baker, who's a little bit undersized, like the coverage role. Miami specifically, and Kyle Van Noy, who's like a little bit of an edge rusher and off ball.
You could also look at receiver maybe if you want to like help Fitz out.
If you wanted Ayuk here, I wouldn't get mad.
Yeah, like I can also argue you can go like Ayuk here.
He's definitely the
Isaiah Simmons has to be one of these next three picks, 18, 19, or 20. Has to be Isaiah Simmons.
You're gonna hate me. I have Isaiah Simmons falling into the 20s.
Oh,
no, he has to be
almost there. We're basically almost there. So yeah, let's go Ayuk here, because I think that's their biggest need this year, and it kind of was last year. Like, they have the jump ball guy in Parker, they have Jazeki, a couple of tight ends, but like they don't really have any like separators, and it's definitely their need,
or playmakers.
And this would help out any kind of quarterback offense. what you can do with Ayuk. The Raiders.
We went receiver. Please give me Isaiah Simmons here.
I'll give you Isaiah Simmons here just because I have them mocked the corner.
And I mean, this is hindsight because we weren't supposed to do this, but just looking forward, who they hired, Gus Bradley, like Isaiah Simmons in that system would be very exciting. So, and honestly, he's a fifth. Like he was a top 5, top 10 prospect. I mean, he's ranked 5th here, but just I remember in last year's class. So any time a person falls to you at 19, I think you got to do it. The Jacksonville Jaguars here took Chase on. I don't think I'd do that again.
No, probably not. And I liked him coming out of OSU.
If I was going edge, I would go Gross Matos. If we were going here, I thought he also played well for the Panthers.
Can I make an argument?
Yeah, go ahead.
Are you going to say running back? Because I'm thinking running back.
We went corner.
James Robinson and lock that up.
I won't get mad. But, and this is me being a Gardner Minshew guy, I don't think you guys are going to agree with me. Why not Jalen Hurts?
Ooh, that's interesting. I don't think I had him in the first
I
round.
don't think Jalen Hurts played that well, and I don't know.
Jalen Hurts would have been a first-round pick, I promise you.
I don't think he's worth it.
I mean, we've started with Jordan Love won in the first round, so Jalen Hurts would definitely be worth it in this, like instead of him. But yeah, I don't know if I'm sold on Jalen Hurts being the franchise quarterback. There was some talk today about Philly possibly taking a quarterback at 6. That's a speculation, but like once they trade Wentz, it's a possibility.
Look, I'm not saying you have to. This has to be Jalen Hurts.
No, I mean they certainly need it.
My mind automatically went Jalen Hurts. It went DeAndre Swift.
I mean, if you believe in Jordan Love,
you need a playmaker. This pick has to be a playmaker.
Why don't you get James Robinson at that point because he went undrafted and he fits so well. He 1,000+ rusher.
Are we counting undrafted?
Yeah, we're counting any round. So anything.
I mean, James Robinson played really well. I would say.
I don't even know if James Robinson's going to be here. Oh, he is. Sorry, 223. That's what he's ranked at. I'm trying to. Yes, Robinson worked completely, awesome, but you wouldn't take it. You wouldn't take any of these running backs over him if we were.
Maybe Jonathan Taylor.
I have really high hopes for Swift. I'm going to argue.
So do I. I think Swift eye test played the best out of all the running backs. Just eye test.
I think it was Taylor at the end of the year, but I'm just talking about going forward. It's been unfortunate that he's like kind of on Detroit because they're going to be like very bad to mediocre the next couple seasons. But I thought if Swift got on the right,
I love Jonathan Taylor. But I actually think DeAndre Swift would have done just the same as Taylor did to the last few weeks of the season, those 200-yard games. Swift could have done that again, not just rushing; it would have been passing and rushing, but he could have gotten those yards.
I'm just arguing you just go with what's worked, and that James Robinson rushed for 1,000 yards in your season.
So we'll just go James. I like James Robinson too. So I really don't like going running back in the first round, but
me either. But at that point, like, there's nothing really you could do.
Okay, the Philadelphia Eagles. We know what they did here with Rager.
Do we still have Judy on that board?
No, we do not.
No.
Okay. We have Higgins. We have Mims.
I gave him Higgins here.
Claypool. I know we didn't take him in your scenario.
Claypool's left. I would give him Claypool.
I actually like Claypool in this scenario. Like getting younger.
Claypool, yeah.
Obviously,
Claypool, yeah.
On Jeffrey at this point wasn't like in the long-term plans anyway, so this is kind of a good, better replacement going forward. The Vikings went Justin Jefferson here. Obviously, he's not on the board this time.
I kind of argue at this point you have to give him receiver again, right?
I mean, they didn't need a receiver last year, but they just obviously Diggs was traded, so then they just kind of worked out where Jefferson fell to them. I'm gonna make a case as wide receiver. We could go Ruggs. Obviously, Higgins is still here. I think Mims is really good, but off his first year, it's tough to call him a first round pick because of Sam Darnold and the Jets. How about? I would argue AJ Terrell or Jalen Johnson. Jalen Johnson did not go round 1, but I thought he had a really good rookie year for the Bears.
I'll give you AJ Terrell here. I could agree.
I'm good with AJ Terrell here.
The next corner off this board, if we do have one, I'm arguing for Jalen Johnson. I think he should have been a first-round pick last year. I know he had shoulder issues, concerns going into the draft, but I do think he was one of the top rookie corners. The Patriots.
Here could have been a spot for Patrick Queen.
I thought McKinney was going to go here last year. But, yeah,
You know how the Patriots are with their linebackers. They always have
or if you want to go receiver, because God knows, I'm good with the T. Higgins here.
It's up to you guys.
I don't think the Patriots would have taken a wide receiver at 23.
All right, so I mean, there's no case scenario for Kenneth Murray. I thought he was pretty good toward the end of the year.
I would take Patrick Queen over Murray.
Or I would go maybe even Cesar Ruiz.
No, I let him go to you guys.
Well, at this point, they didn't really. They did franchise tag Thuney. They still had David Andrews, and
all right, I guess I'm looking.
And Shaq Mason.
Now,
so they already had a pretty good
year. All right.
So for you guys, we're going to stick with the same pick, I think.
Match that pick.
That was just kind of one of the. We only did that a couple of times in this draft. It's kind of worked out. So the Vikings, Henry Ruggs falls to 25. Do you pass on him here?
Well, do you get Chase?
No, I think you trading Diggs and the speed that's still here. You don't expect somebody who had 4.3 speed to be at pick 25.
Okay, I wouldn't take Ruggs over Mims or Higgins, even Pittman. I don't think again, but
just I always for speed purposes.
Yeah, I do fall.
I like Higgins more as a receiver, as a number one receiver. So if you want to go Higgins, I won't get mad either.
But they already had Thielen in this case, like obviously.
All right, so that's why I said
it's just trying to get a different skill set to your offense. All right, we'll go Ruggs. The Miami Dolphins picking again. So who we gave them Becton and we gave them who else? Ayuk. So we definitely helped up their offense. I think it's time to.
I'm still willing to take Hurts.
Oh, so you're going quarterback. All right.
You don't have to again.
Really?
You could definitely pick other players over him, but
I think I would probably go like.
I kind of like Gross Matos here.
What about Jeremy Chen?
Actually, I love that. I definitely wanted him in the first round.
Yeah, I feel like he played really well too, but like no one talked about it. But yeah, Jeremy Chen.
Actually, he actually was like second in I think defensive rookie of the year voting. He was second or third. He was very high up there. So
I think he was third. Yeah, it was something like that. But yeah, he played phenomenal.
Actually, that's an excellent suggestion. That would have been a great pick. I mean, if this is imagine Miami came out with this haul last year, Ayuk, Becton, and Chen. The Seattle Seahawks, they probably took the biggest surprise, I think, last year with Jordan Brooks in the first round.
Well, they always do something stupid with their first round.
Seems like they always do that kind of stuff. Who are we thinking here?
Well, they're not getting a safety because we saw what they did with that situation.
Kenneth Murray, I could argue for him here.
You can go with like a Kenneth Murray. Who else is left?
It would have to be a pass.
Honestly, I could make a case for my guy Jalen Johnson here. I think he fits in this defense too.
You could.
Like they certainly need cornerback help.
I know, but when was the last time they went corner first round?
Well, it's not about what they were going to do. It's what they should have done because Seattle don't necessarily draft well in the first round. I mean, I'm willing to listen to Kenneth Murray.
Well, if you're gonna go corner, would you go Jalen Johnson or would you go like Cameron Dantzler?
I had him. I had him right below Johnson. Like Dantzler was certainly like drafted too late in the third round, but I think Jalen Johnson overall had more of a better impact and better players rookie year with the Bears than Dantzler was with the Vikings. I could also make the case for Gross Matos here because their pass rush was, non-extent. It was terrible last year before they got done.
Based on at that point.
I mean, it looks like based on what we're given, the Panthers really nailed their draft last year. To even consider Gross Matos here.
I'm good with either Kenneth Murray, Clavion Chason, or Gross Matos. I think that would have been deep.
I really want to go. I want to go Gross Matos. I don't think Chason was as good as him last year.
I'm fine anything front seven.
Markello, you good with
I'm good with Gross Matos too, but I think Chason would probably. You don't think Chason's a first round pick?
Based on what we're doing so far, no. Like I don't think he's better than Gross Matos, and especially in this kind of defense, like Chason is more of a 3-4 outside linebacker. Seattle like the bigger ends. So in this specific scenario, I think Gross Matos is better overall too. The Baltimore Ravens, do we just go Kenneth Murray this time instead of Patrick Queen?
Well, that's what they're left with, yeah.
They always go best player available. I mean, they certainly need wide receiver help, so let's at least consider that. T. Higgins, this is definitely the type of guy they needed last year.
Yeah, I'm actually fine with the T. Higgins pick there because they always pick their defense, but you're not going to find better wide receiver talent, given how this draft went, this redraft.
And can you imagine
You're
if
not going to find the gems in the second round.
if they
I'm
would have
actually going T. Higgins here.
if they would have taken Higgins, how much more their offense could have opened up and
Yeah,
life much
I would
easier.
be happy with Higgins here.
Because like Patrick King was very good, but like how much of an overall impact did he have in his rookie year on the Ravens? Already good defense. It wouldn't be as much as T. Higgins would have had on offense. But we definitely had to figure out in the next couple picks. We're going to put Kenneth Murray in. We've been trying to find a spot for this guy. I feel like we've talked about him for a couple teams, and it just ends up.
I think it would be good fits either way for either Tennessee or Green Bay.
So Tennessee, they took Isaiah Wilson. Obviously, that's not happening here in our case. Is there any offensive lineman? Would you consider Austin Jackson here?
No, not over.
Up and down rookie year. We took Ruiz interior. Robert Hunt wasn't bad, certainly, but probably not, right? Tennessee have a pretty good offensive line.
You want to consider
I don't know. This might be the spot for Chase on guys.
Yeah, I'd say this is probably a Chase on spot.
And their offensive line, their defensive line of pass rush last year was non-existent. So, yeah, I definitely want to go Chase on here.
I'm fine with it. Can we finally fit Kenneth Murray into Green Bay?
And we're gonna slot him.
Yeah, this is probably where I would put him.
Do we want to make? They have good safeties. All right. Kenneth Murray. We've been trying to find the spot, but I think this is the one. I mean, they could have went wide receiver, but it feels like we got rid of all the first rounders. Pittman, maybe you could argue. I think Mims going forward. I think if the Jets do hit on a good quarterback, you'll see him. His production will rise. I like Chenault, but he's more probably like a gadget guy. Definitely at Rager, we couldn't do again, just not based on the first year. So San Fran, they traded up, right, for Ayuk in the normal draft, but
yeah,
okay, so they're here. This is the DeForest Buckner thing. So who do we like here?
I'd probably either give them a corner. Do you guys wait? Hold on, hear me out here. Would you guys argue to give them a running back?
Yeah, no running back.
I'm not giving San. I know they because San Fran actually pay running backs, which is weird. Like they paid Tevin Coleman, they paid Jerick McKinnon, but like they have Raheem Mostert, they have Wilson on the team. Like it seems like anybody they plug in, even Hasty when he came in for a few games was pretty good. Obviously, San Fran trying to think.
Corner, the only one I would probably consider is Jalen Johnson. Maybe Cam Dantzler.
Certainly need offensive line help, but I don't think there's anyone worth taking here for them to seriously upgrade.
Yeah.
So they had edge rushers at the time. It was like obviously nobody was hurt.
It's a
pretty good team overall. I mean, Debo got hurt, but like we didn't know that in hindsight. I don't think there's anyone for their Pacific system. I don't think like Mims fits what they do. So yeah, I think corner would be the play because Sherman, the back of their head, they kind of knew he was going to leave in a year.
Jalen Johnson.
I'm either saying Jalen Johnson or Cameron Dantzler. One of those two.
I'd probably go Jalen Johnson.
I think I'd go Jalen Johnson. I mean, Dantzler is basically he definitely upped his like where he was drafted from, but so did Jalen. Like I definitely think Jalen Johnson was worthy of one of the top 32 picks. I thought he was going into the draft, but like I said, he had the shoulder issues where teams were concerned about, and then
with this last pick, I'm going to get really upset if you guys don't pick either DeAndre Swift or Jonathan Taylor.
This is Jonathan Taylor for me.
I know everybody was freaking out about Clyde-Edwards-Helaire and the pass catching ability, but watching the tape and how it all played out, that's not the kind of running back that the Chiefs needed. They needed a running back to run in between the tackles, so maybe even Jonathan Taylor, honestly.
Yeah, I'd say
a big physical back inside the 5-yard line. Somebody to take the pressure off Mahomes. So I like what Swift could bring to the table because he could do both. So maybe just for the Chiefs style of play, because you still want a pass catching running back, just because that's what Andy Reid likes. I'm fine with Swift or Taylor. You can make an argument for either. Can't go wrong.
Markello, Taylor.
I'm big on Taylor, but I know you guys like Swift more, so it's up to you guys.
No, I don't have a preference. I think it's depending on what the team needs. So I could genuinely make an argument for either running back for the Chiefs.
Okay, I'm in the same boat. I like both players. I think Swift's just being a little bit underrated just by kind of fans because of what happened his rookie year. But let's go Taylor. Let's just go Taylor. It seems like that's the guy they needed. But I think this Chiefs made the mistake last year thinking that Clyde was more elusive and Clyde is still going to be a good pick, but just comparing him to Swift, I think they kind of messed up because it seemed like they kind of had a plan for the running back position. Like they wanted like an elusive pass catcher, and that just didn't end up being, Clyde. At least it didn't help in the Super Bowl.
I think they were just too wooed with the fact of how that LSU team was.
Thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Talk to you guys next week.
See you next week.